Welcome to our new thought leadership video. I'm Poizner from Parabellyx, and today let's talk about the senior executive stress. I just have got an article that was shared with me this morning about how most of the CISOs have only 26 months in their tenure, and 88% of them are either moderately or tremendously stressed. Let's talk a bit about this, because I think that's a very important subject. And I had a very similar experience. As I came into my executive role, well, the view that opened to me in terms of all of the issues and all of the opportunities, it was great, but it was also stunning. So stunning that I was literally stunned to inaction initially. So how can we overcome this? Because this is exactly what's happening with a lot of executives. They come into the new role, and their view from on top is exciting, but they also see so many things that they need to do that they literally are stunned by this, and they are stunned to a point where they don't know what to do and how to act. Well, obviously, everybody would say, hey, you should have a plan. This is true. However, how should you approach the planning? How should you approach to your strategy? Well, first, start with policies. I mean, everybody knows security policies is something that a mid-level guy from security department is doing, but well, not really. Have you ever heard the term grand strategy? Obviously, you as an executive have a strategy that you have to create and execute. However, there is a grand strategy. There is a business strategy that was set above you by CEO, CFO, CIO. And your strategy should be to deliver to their strategy. This is also called a policy that you have to maintain and execute on. So that's your first thing that you have to look at. Don't do it by yourself. Seek the understanding. What do you need to deliver? Obviously, this has to be aligned with the risks that you see. And yes, you're going to see a lot of risks. There will be either coming as GRC report, or they are going to be a part of your threat risk assessment reports. You'll see a lot. You'll see a lot attached even to your most critical assets. How do we deal with this? Well, look at one of my LinkedIn articles where I recommend to take one step back. Do not look at the risks themselves. Do not look at the threats themselves. Start thinking about who are the threat actors, what their motives, their means and opportunities. And from there, you can start focusing on more meaningful threats rather than everything that you have. And that will clear your view tremendously. Once you have that, once you have the grand strategy, start working on your strategy from the perspective of your objectives, your goals, as well as metrics. How are you going to deliver? Metrics are important, but a lot of people, when they start looking at metrics, they ask, well, how do I get from point A to point B? How do I get 20% in incident reduction? How do I get 80% in incident response time reduction? Those are tremendous figures. You cannot do it right away. The important thing is not to get stunned, but take a small step in the correct direction. Don't ask what's going to reduce your incident response times by 80%. Ask what's going to reduce them by 2%, by 3%. That's the most important thing. You have to start moving in the direction before you can gain momentum and start moving faster. If you don't do this, you will be in standstill and you will be tremendously stressed. Another huge stress factor for executives is your team's morale. And I've talked about this in my other video. This is extremely important. And this is where you need to start thinking of stress reduction for your team. Eliminate multitasking, eliminate manual tasks. Look at improving the process. Once you can get there, and again, baby steps, don't try to move fast. Once you get there and you have less stress within your team, you will have less stress as well. That's exactly how it works. Happy team, happy leader. So taking all of those in consideration, you should be able to start moving towards a better plan and start building a less stressful environment for yourself and for your team. Good luck. We'll talk next week.